Okay guys, so the first thing you're going to need to do is to create a folder or a new project and save your work. So we're going to come up into the top left hand corner and we've got this little button that says show data panel. When we show the data panel, it's going to show all the menu of your work and all the different things that you've saved. Now mine's obviously quite full because I've got lots of stuff, but you're going to click here where it says new project. You obviously won't have all of these things, but that's fine. Click on New Project, and we're going to call it your name. Okay, so in my case, John Wilson, and I'm going to call it Year 8 Frame. So it's got a logical name, okay, and there's no confusing it. Don't just call it, please, my work. You can imagine when you start sharing these things with me or Mr. Mike for cutting, if they're all called my design work, we have absolute chaos. So your name, year 8, frame. Okay, and that's created a new project for you. All right, so we can then close that data panel if we want, just to give us more space. And we're then going to save our work. Now we haven't done anything yet, but we're still going to save it. So I'm going to click on save here, and I'm going to come in and check where it's going into, and I want to find that folder that I've just created here. So let's have a look and see what I can find. John Wilson, Year 8 frame. Okay, so I'm going to click on there, make sure it's going into that folder that I just created, or that project, sorry, that I just created. And again, name, John Wilson. Oops, right. Let's try that again. John Wilson, and I'm going to call this frame front because it's the piece for going on the front, and I'm going to call it 001 because it's the first version that I'm doing. Okay, it's a good idea to number your work. You might have a second, third, fourth, however many versions. So there you go, your name, frame front 001, and click save. All right, now what that means is as we're working, every now and again we can just come up to here, click this save button, and it's going to update for us. Okay, so we're mostly going to be using the tools in this sketch menu here, and as we draw, we will, whether we're using rectangles or whatever it happens to be, it's basically lines and building up the shape and trimming. We have to think about sizes as we're going, and what will happen is in this area here, this browser, at the moment it's telling me there's a document called John Wilson Frame Front 001. There's not much to it, but as we start to draw, we'll see some other things appearing here. So we're going to start with a rectangle. So if I come down to here, I can choose a simple 2-point rectangle. I could just press R on my keyboard, which is a shortcut key. And when I do that, these things will appear. Now, these are planes. This is what we draw on, okay? So this would be like a plan view, and this would be your front and side view, okay? So I'm going to choose that front view there, and when I do that, that whole thing is just going to spin round so it's sort of facing directly towards me. I've got view tools down here for moving and panning and things like that. I've got a view cube up in this right hand corner where I can rotate things and so on and so forth, or press my home button to get back to a home view. Anyway, so we've pressed that R rectangle, and so I'm going to put it on the center of that origin there. These are 2 axes, and this is our origin. I'm going to click and just drag. Now you don't click a second time. You can see you've got 2 dimension boxes. One is highlighted in blue, one is not. So I'm going to type into that. First of all, it's showing me it wants to, the one in blue is my height, obviously. So I'm going to put in the height of 100 there. And then I'm going to press Tab on my keyboard, and it's going to ask me for the second dimension. So now the one at the bottom of the screen has gone blue, and that's 85. So 100 by 85, and there you go. Okay. That is the outside shape or outside diameter. What we're then going to, sorry, not diameter, it's not a circle, the outside dimensions. The next thing is we're then going to use an offset. And to do that, we press O, first of all, on our keyboard, and it comes up offset. And it's saying select the sketch curves. Well, they're not curves, but they are a sketch. So let's click there. And then it's asking me for the amount of offset. So this, if you like, is creating that smaller window that the actual photo will be seen through. Okay, so it's a little bit up to you how large you want to make this. Probably something around about 15, maybe 20 millimeters. That would be 15. That looks pretty reasonable. That would be 20. So the sort of the outside area is getting a bit larger where you could put your decoration, but the inside area where your actual photo is visible obviously reduces a little, but it doesn't particularly matter. Okay, so I'm going to go with 20. I think that's enough to put a photo in and actually see what's there, and it then gives me plenty of space around that outside edge. So I'm going to click OK. And there you go. That is my basic frame front. Okay, so let's click save on that and get that done there. Okay, and we'll stop there. Okay, well done. If you've followed that so far, 85 wide, 100 high, and an offset of 20. Make sure you've saved it, and we'll go on to the next tutorial.